Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavinsky's Tutorials. Today I'm going to do a walkthrough of Otoo by Beep Street. So that's the developers of Drambo and Xeon and all sorts of cool stuff. They're a very popular developer on the iOS platform. So this is something that somebody told me Giku, the developer, made this kind of for his son. I don't know, Giku himself told me he wanted something that would work well on a phone. So a very similar motivation actually to the Dialect, right, by Sugar Bites. And I mean, you can see this looks like it's been inspired by it. I'd be very surprised if it hasn't. It's far more limited than Dialect, by the way. But, it can load those, AUV3s and things. Like it's got some nice little features, this. But it is very limited and, it is limited by design. It's not supposed to be something super complex. If you want that, go and use Drambo or whatever, or use all your different AUV3s and MIDI sequencers and effects and whatever inside AUM. But you can use AUV3 instruments and effects in this, right? So let's just take a look at it. Let me just first play you a simple little example. I mean, I say it's simple, but it took me longer than you'd expect to come up with because this kind of workflow is very alien to me. This is not the sort of thing that I normally use at all. It's the kind of thing that to get used to, you need to spend time doing this sort of thing with these kind of tools. I wish there was a follow view like Dialect. Like, it's not following here. It's just showing me the pattern that's selected. And that's why you're not seeing the playhead unless I've got the pattern that the playhead's currently on selected, right? So I do wish there was an option there to have it follow, which is an option that got added to Dialect, and it was actually me that asked for that. It was a really useful little thing to have added, I thought. So if you listen, just let me show you one thing first. This is a cool little thing to know very quickly as well. So it's following through this pattern here. We can add to the pattern, right, by tapping here. And it'll just add another empty pattern. And we can adjust here. So now it's only going to play 3 patterns and it's going to keep looping around. Or I can, make it just loop the first pattern. And these won't work if you don't have them tapped to highlight in green. And so that's, useful. That's a performance control, basically. So, I can decide whenever I want to just make it come back and loop that. Also, double tapping will make something loop. So that's a really handy little trick as well. So listen to this. Do you hear 2 different sounds? That's a kalimba sound. And this is a synth sound, right? So what you really need to understand about this app, it's definitely a little bit different. So here we have notes. Green notes are playing this first, the sound that's set to be controlled by this knob and this green keyboard. So anytime I have this selected, if I, for example, drag from here, it's going to add notes. I can also drag notes on top of each other to make a chord and just tap to delete. Now you don't have to drag. That's not the only way to enter stuff. If I have G selected here, then anywhere I go and tap, it will add a G. This is an A sharp. I said to Giku, I really hate this personally. I would prefer a sharp symbol, and it's very hard for me to read that. If I'm looking at my pattern at a glance, I find it extremely difficult to see where there's a sharp. He's told me, oh, I don't know, I don't personally really need that. I don't know, he's working by ear or something. But look, I'm an iPad person, and I'm not used to those sort of hardware boxes. And for me, I really like to see clearly what note is where. And I would love that. I'd love these to just be more readable, first of all. And secondly, to show the sharp symbol, it would be far more easily visible than this tiny little thing here, right? So then if I go in, like, let's see, you might think that this track is linked to one instrument, but it's not. If I press here, then I can add in this other synth sound there. Have a listen. So do you see here it played the kalimba and then it played the synth? Right? Right? Get the idea? So that's pretty different, definitely. So that's the most important thing to understand, really. This thing here, by the way, is for entering. Well, it has a few different functions. It can. Well, let's come back to it later. Okay. So let me see. This is like a master level knob, but also tapping this will. Sorry, if you tap it once, it will switch into this little performance section here, which is actually super cool. Please stick around for that. That's great. This is not going to be a long video. I'm going to try and make it as short as I can. So yeah, so that's, our pattern section there. Then we can also press record up here. Hang on, why is that not working? Let me see. Because I'm in this performance mode. Okay, so I need to get back. I need to, if I want to get out of this mode, I need to press one of these. Okay, just pressing that mode won't get you out of it, strangely. I suppose it makes sense. It does make sense. Okay, so anyway, now I've selected the green one. So if I press record now, right, I can enter notes right here. Or, if I press here, I'll be entering here now, right? Okay, and so you enter the notes that you want, and you can enter this for a rest, right? So we've entered several rests there. And then you just keep entering like that, right? And we can also have the playhead running, in which case, we can enter notes and it will just enter them wherever the playhead happens to be at that time, right? Now that was absolute cacophony. So if I want to clear these, let me just first press record there, and I'm just going to tap these. Now there are ways to clear a whole pattern as well, but I don't think there's a way to just clear a row like that. So let me show you this. Let me first put a note in here. So if I put a note in here, so now we've got an active step there. If I long press on that, we have a few options. One is select all. It will select this whole pattern. Then we can copy that, and then, if we copy it, we could paste it somewhere else. But we also have transpose. So if I go in here, tap transpose, then I can say transpose everything up 5, right? Or, down. So we have options of 1, 3, and 5. That's all, it's limited, the number of options there. So you might have to do multiple presses to get what you want. And there's also rotate options. So we can rotate, that's putting everything forward 4 steps. Which is kind of cool, actually. But doesn't really work together, right? So then we can undo that. Right? Undo and redo buttons up here. Here, again, we have BPM and we have swing control. Here, new, load, save, save as, export audio, and help. If you want to export just, a single track, like just, I don't know, the whole concept of track doesn't really work here all that much, but you can, you can mute things, and then, like, if I drag here to the left, now, you see that synth thing is muted. If I drag this to the right, now that synth is soloed, right? And so if I export it, then it would export it with just the synth or without the synth or whatever, depending on how I've set my solo or my mute and whatever, right? Now, what else have we got? So here, okay, this thing here, this is called step edit. Whoops. So if this is on, there's a few things we can do. I can drag to adjust the velocity of a note, right? And I can also drag to the right to make it longer. Now, whether you actually hear it longer or not is going to depend, is like this kalimba sound, for example, is not going to be able to sustain like that. But also, if you are playing with sounds that can sustain, like if you drag all the way to the right, you'll get this little infinite symbol, and then it will be sustained infinitely until it reaches a one of these things here, and then that will turn it off. I'm not going to experiment with that right now because I think I really want to keep this short. It should be pretty conceptually obvious what that does. What else? Let me just look here and see. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, this is very easy to forget. So if you have a step, let's just see here. Let me change this and put it maybe here. Let me use a synth one actually. Okay. So if I drag left, see there, it's doing a ratcheting, right? Beautiful, huh? Okay, so that's the step edit mode. And just remember to turn that off if you want things to act normally. What else? So yeah, again here, we can use this to clear the whole pattern. Oh, no, hang on. Sorry, it's just clearing the step there because I didn't have select all on. But yeah, select all and clear, and now it's cleared the whole pattern. And again, thank God for undo and redo. Okay, let's look at the instruments. So here currently I've got the synth selected. And let's just get rid of that A. So here it's set to the rumblers. And look, I love that go bass on this. That's super nice, isn't it? But as I said, we can also load AUV3s. So if I drag down here, now, notice we're not hearing that anymore. So now I can select an AUV3. So here, say I've selected Continua. Okay, and I can go in and, pick presets and stuff. Right? Now we can also add effects. Right? So we can have up to 2 effects, I think, loaded for an instrument. And then just drag down to delete. And then if I want to go back to, my Rumpler or whatever, I can just go in here again and pick something. Super. But, we've also got this whole performance thing. Whoops. So let's look at that now, right? So if I press this, and let's just hang on a second. Let me just at least just change this. Let's use this last one here. Okay. Let me see before I go into this. Is there anything I haven't looked at yet? This is not my first take, so I might have forgotten. But we can drag around to change the order of patterns as well, right? So now the first pattern and the second pattern have switched places, right? Okay, so let's look at the performance mode. So we get into that by pressing this, and we get out of it by pressing one of these again, right? So now we're in performance mode. And you need to be careful here because some of these, they look just like buttons, but actually dragging them will sometimes make a difference to what they do. These are super fun to play around with. So let me go through them one by one. Okay, so hang on, let me just select. So got to make sure we've got the pattern selected here so we can see what's going on here. So now reverse, right? Now you can also drag these, but I don't think it makes any difference with this reverse one. This is repeating the step, and it'll just keep repeating it until you pull away. And then, if you drag up, it'll ratchet it, and the more you drag, the more ratchets you'll get. Brilliant. This one here, this repeat beat. So if I just press the button, it's repeating those 4. That's called a beat. So each pattern has 4 beats. And then look, if I drag up, now it's doing just the first and the second columns. And now it's doing 1, 2, and 3. That's brilliant, isn't it? Like, this is so fun. This bit here, it's great. So this randomize playback position. Okay, this one here, selective step playback within a beat. Some of them it'll matter whether you're dragging them left or right. I'm not hearing that making any difference. I don't know why. I think I have before, but I'm not sure. I can't remember with that one. So this is triplets. Does this make a difference if you drag it? It doesn't sound like it does. That's a little bit conceptually confusing, I think. So this is mute. There we go. Okay. Swing. Nice. Here. Shift playback position. Transpose. The manual says drums and other instruments separately. I haven't messed around with drums on this yet. So, I don't know. I mean, I would assume it's just not going to transpose the drums at all. I'm not sure. You can try it yourself. Rotate notes. I don't see anything visually. I'm not 100% sure what that is doing, but yeah, rotate notes according to the manual. This one's super cool. Transgate. And, when we drag around, we're able to control both the length and the depth. Pressure. Brilliant. Tape. And low pass filter. Now let's see, do these work together? Oh yeah, they do. Wow, nice. Oh, beautiful, right? I mean, that is really fun, yeah. And low pass filter. High pass and low pass filters, right? Oh yeah. So, I think I've covered everything there. Thank you guys to those of you supporting my work on Patreon. Really, I'm not kidding, guys. This channel would not be alive at this point if it wasn't for the support of those people on Patreon. People don't really understand how much work is involved in doing a channel like this and how much sacrifice it takes. I dropped everything, to get up to speed when this app came out. Not everybody's in a position to be able to do that. And I really make so many sacrifices, and I make very little from YouTube. and you know, very few developers compensate me properly apart from like free codes and stuff. So if you value this channel, please join those people supporting on Patreon or support in one of the other ways. You'll find things in the pinned comment of this video. I mean, the Patreon is great, but it's still like, you know, rationally, it's still, even after 6 years of doing this, it's kind of crazy for me to be putting as much time into it as I do. So, you know, like the Patreon, it's grown a lot in recent months and I'm so happy about that, but it needs to grow so much more for me to, you know, really be able to justify this, because, you know, what I earn in relation to the time I put in is crazy. And like, in the early years of doing this channel, I didn't really care about that because I had, you know, enough other, yeah, I had kind of at times anyway, I had enough other income from other sources. And another thing was that, you know, I myself was very highly motivated to learn all these different new apps and stuff that were coming out. But, you know, when you do a channel like this long term, you do not have that motivation anymore. Like I don't really want to be dropping everything, you know, to just constantly learn one new app after another, unless I'm getting paid properly for my time, because I've got other priorities, you know. I'd rather be focusing on my own projects and stuff. So like it's an amazing thing to do as long as you're getting paid properly for it. If you're not, it starts to feel like, you know, is this really the best use of my time? And can I afford to keep putting this time in? I can't really. So I really need more people to step up, you know, developers to pay me properly and people to support, you know, Patreon or whatever, or, you know, at least like maybe using affiliate links. So on my YouTube community page, I posted yesterday, I think there's a special at the moment where with Piano Tech, you can get 20% off any Piano Tech stuff on their website by using an affiliate link. So I've shared my affiliate link. If you don't use, you know, a special link like that, you won't be able to get the discount. Anything bought there, by the way, will also work on, you know, iOS as well, right? So thank you again, guys, to those of you who do support my work. I really appreciate you. And this channel would not be here without you. And thanks, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.